Hi guys, welcome to my Animal Crossing channel where I play Animal Crossing. My name is Renee and I am the island rep for Moonlight Cove. So today's video is actually my first video on this channel, so please bear with me because I've been trying really hard to figure out my mic settings and everything like that, so hopefully my audio sounds okay. If it doesn't sound the best, I promise the next video should be a bit better. But recently Animal Crossing New Horizons just celebrated its very first birthday, which is super exciting, and I have loved this game. It has held me up through the entire last year that was 2020, and to show my appreciation for this game, I thought I'd go ahead and finally start uploading to this channel because I've been working on this for a really long time. And as a first video, I thought it would be a great idea to just give you guys an island tour so you guys can see everything that I've got going on Moonlight Cove. But first, I wanted to give you guys a very brief history of my time here on Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I was gifted the game by my boyfriend about a week after the game released, and at the time we were actually sharing the very first version of the Switch, which we very quickly realized that I was going to need my own Switch because I was literally playing all the time. I would only put the Joy-Cons down to go to the bathroom, to get food, or to like water my plants or feed my pets. Like that was it. But we didn't immediately go and search for a new Switch because it was really hard to find any consoles left in store because a lot of people were looking for at-home entertainment since this was also basically the beginning of quarantine, at least here in America. And any consoles you could really find were going to be on eBay and they were going to be super overpriced, so we didn't even bother going looking for consoles at the time. And then we quickly got news that Nintendo was going to be releasing the second version of the Switch, which came out on GameStop.com sometime in May. It was the greatest time of my life. I got myself an Animal Crossing themed skin and everything came in. I got the game downloaded. Unfortunately, that wasn't the time really to be buying a Switch so that you could play Animal Crossing, especially if you had already started the game on another Switch, because Nintendo, for whatever reason, didn't immediately add in the feature where you could like have a cloud save of your game to move over to another console. So I basically ended up having to completely restart from scratch. So when I restarted my island, I actually went through kind of like a major brain fart where I completely forgot how to sync the game with the Nintendo app on your phone. So when my second island didn't immediately connect to my Nintendo app on my phone, I figured I just needed to restart my island again, which wasn't the case. I just needed to go into game settings and resync everything, but I didn't realize that or figure that out until I had already restarted my island again. Technically, this island that we're on is my third island. The real issue with this situation is that on my first island, I had done a lot of turnip trading. And when I say a lot, I do mean I had quite an amount of bells for the beginning of the game. And needless to say, I was not going to let those go to waste. So I did ask one of my in real life friends who also had Animal Crossing if I could store some of my bells and my items on her island. And they were completely okay with that. But I did unfortunately go through the process of moving things back onto my island before I had gotten everything like figured out with the Nintendo app. It was just a lot of back and forth, and then I rushed through the entire main storyline. Long story short, I completely exhausted myself with the game and I took a lot of breaks, and it really took me a long time to finally get inspiration to want to terraform, to start decorating. Like I said, I had started my island May 2020 and I didn't start really getting down to figuring out my map until October of 2020. And the only reason I started to really assess my map is because of the pumpkin update. From the moment when I got terraforming unlocked to the pumpkin update, like I was getting random bursts of inspiration and then it would disappear and I would not touch Animal Crossing for like 2 weeks. So when the pumpkin update came and rejuvenated my inspiration, that's when I basically decided that I wanted to start getting my island finished because I really wanted to get a dream address posted. In that whole process, I had a moment where I realized that I absolutely loathed my map and wasn't really going to be able to get anything done unless I started terraforming. So when I figured all of that out, I completely destroyed everything that had at once been decorated. I got really overwhelmed by the amount of terraforming that I knew I was going to have to do, and I kind of just disappeared again. I would kind of check in every once in a while to terraform little by little, but it was a really long process until the Christmas update, which once again rejuvenated me, and all of a sudden I started terraforming like a mad woman. Like, my island was torn up and reborn within a span of like 2 to 3 weeks, and I did end up going through a couple of theme changes in that time because I was really inspired by Christmas and I wanted to do a Christmas themed island, and then I wanted to do a winter themed island. And then I kind of had to go back to my original theme because I realized I did not want to stay in a holiday and I did not want to stay in the snow because, oh my god, there was a lack of serotonin even on Animal Crossing. And when I kind of came to the final decision to just go with the original theme, which is a mix between Cluttercore, Forest Core, Cottage Core, Fairy Core. I don't even know what exactly you would call my island, like Hodgepodge Core. I don't even really know. But when I came to the decision to go back to my original theme, everything got really easy. All that to say that everything that you guys are about to see in this island tour has been done over the span of the last like 3.5 to 4 months. And I'm honestly really proud of everything that I've gotten accomplished. Unfortunately, with the Sanrio update, which by the way, the 1-year update was amazing. The Sanrio update is iconic. The only downside of the update is that it has me questioning a lot of things about my island, but I just wanted to start with giving you guys the bare bones and showing you guys what I have going on this island so far. So let me stop chatting your ear off. I'm gonna get over to the airport entrance and we'll get this island tour started. Alright y'all, here we are at my airport, and I did go ahead and bust out my umbrella because it's pouring, which honestly this is some of my favorite weather. I actually live in Texas, so I really love when it rains, and I love it even more so because it rains more in Animal Crossing than it does anywhere else that I would be. Oh my god, look at Molly. Molly's my stalker, and honestly, I don't think I have any problems with that. Look at how adorable she is in her rain attire. Running from the future here really quick to just let y'all know that I did actually get inspiration for my entrance. I had completely forgotten until I went to go look for a pin that relates to another part of my island that I was really inspired by. But when I was looking for that other pin, I found a pin to the exact same Twitter post that I had originally saw that inspired me to build my entrance like this, so I'll go ahead and have that photo up on the screen for you guys. I'm also gonna have both of those inspiration pins linked down below if you guys want to go check them out. Alright, that's it. I'll let y'all get back to the video now. Anyways, this is my entrance that I built. I actually think this entrance took me about like 2 or 3 days. I really wanted to make use of a whole bunch of these fish models and bug models that I have. I also added crickets throughout this build because I really like the sound ambiance of it. I know I don't have game audio playing, but I'll go ahead and insert some here so you guys can kind of get the ambiance that is my entrance at this moment. So yeah, that's kind of what my entrance sounds like. I'm honestly really in love with my entrance, and I really wanted something that looked nice because I do a whole lot of trading. What is this little flower? What are you doing? No, you do not belong there. Yeah, I just love my entrance a lot. Okay, that's enough. We get it. We get it. So we're just gonna stalk Molly down this way. So I have just recently started growing pansies for the first time ever. Like I said, I've had this game pretty much since it was released, and I think I've only ever grown pansies once before this, and when I grew it, I realized I hated it, and I threw it away. What changed my mind is that somebody actually brought me these blue pansies. I don't even know how long ago. I didn't like them at first, and then they started to grow on me, and then I saw the white version of the pansy and I kind of lost my mind because these guys really remind me a lot of like the talking flowers in Alice in Wonderland. Once I kind of came to that small revelation, I decided that I needed all the pansies, and this is the current collection that I have, and I'm really excited to incorporate them all over my island because they're so cute. As you guys can see, up there we have a little bit of like a fairy village, and honestly, I have a few of these areas, and I decided that I'm just gonna get rid of them because honestly my island has a bit of a lag, and I understand it's gonna have one no matter what with the way that I like to decorate, but you can't really even see the village unless you look up, and it just feels like a waste. I feel like it would look better as well if I just put nature up there instead. But anyways, down in front of my pansies, technically we have my Nooks Cranny area. It's kind of just like a little bit of a storage area for now because I don't know what I'm doing with it. I just store a lot of my lilies of the valley over here, and I also have a bunch of grab bags down here that I actually like to drop whenever I do trades. Right now I have them color coded specifically for the Sanrio update. I know that a lot of people haven't had very much access to the Sanrio items yet, so I've just been giving them away. Oh my gosh, she's trying to talk to me. We'll talk to her. Let's see what's up. Sorry to just spring this on you, but could I convince you to buy my top hat? I'm already wearing a hat, but sure, I'll buy it off of you and then I'll sell it. That's fine. So now we have a top hat. Maybe I'll just mail that to my boyfriend and he can find that in his mail in another 4 months when he finally opens his game. Over here we have a mess of items, and that's because this is where I keep my Nookazon trading items. Right now I have a pretty full area. I think this is the fullest it has ever been. So I actually go to Treasure Island for a lot of my materials and stuff like that, and I very often pick items up to sell or trade on Nookazon. I'll probably end up just being super busy on Nookazon for the next week trying to get some of this stuff because I really want this area back. I really want to turn this area into a plant shop in the future because it's right across from, well, this isn't currently the community garden. Right now it's a stunted tree farm. But once I don't need so many stunted trees, it's gonna be the community garden, and I feel like a little plant shop right on the edge of the beach would be perfect, right? Over on this little piece of island, we have oh my god, we have 2 snails. I've never seen 2 snails in this area before. I love snails in the Animal Crossing game. I think they are one of the best creatures. Like, look at them. I love them. But yeah, this is my rock garden area that has pretty much stayed undecorated for a really long time. I think it was August maybe the last time that I tried to decorate this area. It has been expanded since I first placed the items down, but I haven't really done any other decorating or anything else other than that because I just don't ever come over here. But it is seen from the bridge that I crossed earlier, this little bridge. I also kind of want to knock down maybe a couple of these trees so you can see it more. But yeah, it's not really seen. It's very rarely visited. I never get NPCs that spawn there. My villagers can't get to it because it's an island that has to be hopped to. This entire area is just like questionable. I've been really questioning my island over the last few weeks, and this area is one of the big ones because I just recently moved Poppy in here, but I haven't redecorated it for her, which honestly makes me feel horrible. But it's mostly because I want to redo this entire area, even where you're seeing Marty's house back here. I want to redo this because I hate it. And then back here, where Marty's house is, I had Goldie, which is why the front yard is still decorated this way because I literally just moved Marty in. I think I want to move Marty out of this area. His house just really clashes with Poppy's house, and even though I do think his house could be pulled off in the same aesthetic, like they just don't match at all. So I want to redo this entire area, basically ignore this entire area. It's just a giant work in progress. Over here we have a very messy beach. This is where I'm currently storing my flowers, which wasn't really a problem at first, but I'm noticing that I'm using a lot of space on this beach to store colored flowers that I don't use very much of. So I think what I'm actually going to do is sometime this week I'm going to sit down and actually move most of these flowers over to my boyfriend's island because I'm mostly using white, red, and yellow and some orange in my builds. It's very rare that I'll use like blues or purples. Like even the red roses can kind of go, but I want to have them in case I change theme. Back to the villager neighborhood, we have little Miss Molly. I almost forgot her name. We have Molly back here. She's right behind Marty's house, but I do really think this pulls off like the mountainside, cozy, private yard that I wanted Molly to have, and she even has like her little ducky friends. I know she's not a mallard, but The mallard colors just really looked well with her house, and I couldn't pass that up. Alright, we're gonna go down the stairs from here and over to Cluttercore Central. So this is, I always want to call her Luna. Literally, what is wrong with me? It's Ruby's house. And I never really intended to make her yard feel so cluttered, but I absolutely love it. I really don't want to have to come in here and switch it up. And also, her yard does actually lead back over to Poppy's house. I know the skipping steps aren't accessible to my villagers, but I think they look really, really awesome. So over behind Ruby's house, we have a collection of cherry blossom DIYs. I'm actually going to give these away pretty soon on my Twitter because cherry blossom season is coming up really, really fast actually. I just have the DIY sitting out on my floor because I don't know where else to put them. But behind the DIYs, we've got my favorite girl's house. Don't tell any of my other villagers I said that. This is my girl Maple's house. I love her house so much. I wanted to make her a little library, and even though I haven't seen her read here, I know she loves it. And also, can I just point out the little honeybee model right here with a pot that looks like it has honey coming out of it? I know that Maple doesn't look anything like Winnie the Pooh, but honestly, I love Winnie the Pooh. He's one of my favorite characters from childhood, and I was really excited when I thought of this when I first got the honeybee model. Definitely placing these items gave me a rush of serotonin that I was needing. So we're gonna go back up the stairs next to Maple's house, and we have a few transitional areas in my neighborhood, but this transitional area in particular kind of needs to be changed because again, we have like a little pixie village over on the side of the screen that you guys can't even see because I can't really get over there. If you were to just be running through here to get up to the top tier, you don't even see it. You don't see it. So I'm going to be getting rid of that area and like maybe make it into like a little picnic area or a fishing area. I don't really know, but the whole fairy village thing is going to be scrapped, and if I'm going to do a fairy village, it's going to be just one in one area, and that's it. We've got Fauna up here on the second floor. She's like the first house that you come up on from the stairs. Next to Fauna though, we've got Deirdre, which is my fall queen, and as you can tell, like I would definitely say that I like Fauna more than Deirdre. I know I'm standing in her front yard, but don't tell her I said that. But I'm sure many people would agree that it looks like I like Deirdre more because she has much more of a front yard than Fauna does. Over on the other side of Fauna, we have my girl Olive. As much as I love Olive's front yard, like I love what I did here, but her house would look the best with Poppy's house because they're like the same house, just like a different color wave. So I'm thinking about moving her down with Poppy when I redo that whole area by Poppy's house. But honestly, I'm still trying to convince myself to not move Olive because I really like the way this looks. We've got a little sitting area right next to Olive's house, which honestly, this is one of my favorite places to sit. Next to Olive's area though, we have Sherb's house. I really do think that his yard matches his personality pretty well and also matches like the outside of his house. But the wild log bench that I like to place everywhere just didn't really seem to fit in his yard. Like Sherb just does not seem like the kind of villager that's gonna sit on a log. He seems like the kind of guy that wants a clean space to sit. I guess when I picture Sherb, I just picture like very hygienic, germaphobe, organized, studious kind of person. I guess which is probably also why I wanted to give him a statue, because he seems like the kind of guy that goes to museums and like just sits there and sketches statues. Down from Sherb, we've got his little twin sister, Chevre. For whatever reason, when I saw Chevre and Sherb when I very first started New Horizons, I immediately thought of Kiki and Lala. I was like, those are little like twin stars right there, you know? Chevre's yard is a bit different, as you guys can see. Her yard was actually the first like fairy core area that I built on my island. I was kind of trying to go for a little bit more of like Olive's aesthetic, which is like very cottagey, very like Alice in Wonderland meets like Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Disney princess era, you know. But I think once I put down this giant butterfly, it was kind of over. It was just immediately fairy core, and I went with it, and I really love it. I think her yard is, again, one of my favorite areas on this island. And in case you guys are wondering, her house does lead back over to this little like transitional area right in front of Fauna's house. I just really want to watch them all like interact and just walk around. Down here we have a mess. I feel like a lot of people, while they're building their island, they have that one part of their island that is just like a place where they hoard trees and hedges. That's exactly what you guys are seeing right now, is just my hoard. Isn't it beautiful? All I know is that eventually I'm gonna have to clear out all of this stuff, and I'm gonna have to find a spot for my campsite, and I might want to put a library back here, and I definitely want to have some decoration for Red's Beach, so we'll see how I'll manage to make all of that fit into this back corner of my island. If you guys are wondering what these items are over here, I actually brought this collection of DIY sets like even further back than when I got the Cherry Blossom DIY set, but I brought them back here and I fenced them off because you can see this area in my flyover kind of, and I didn't want anyone to try and get any ideas. I will definitely also be giving away materials. I have all of the mushrooms necessary for the mushroom set. Honestly, I have no idea when I'm even going to give these away or if anyone's even interested in a mush DIY set giveaway, so if you are, and if you guys have any other ideas for DIY sets that you would like to see given away, let me know down in the comment section. Just as a quick reminder again, if you guys are interested in any of my giveaways, definitely go follow me on my Twitter. That is where all of my giveaways are happening. And yeah, let's move on. My campsite is already located back here because I needed to move it out of the way. I would love to give it its own decorated spot one day, but I really need to figure out what I'm gonna do because I feel like the terraforming of my island is up for debate again, and I just don't know what I'm gonna do, so we're just gonna casually walk away from that and over to my museum, which has a lot of weeds by it. Where did all of these weeds come from? I guess I just forgot how fast weeds grow during like summer and springtime. Man, winter felt really long this year. So here's my museum, covered in some weeds. I want to say, first off, that this entrance is probably going to be reworked a little bit more because this entrance was heavily inspired by a picture that I saw off Pinterest. The entrance itself, like the area where the Valance statues are, is like way too close to what that photo was. Since then, I have actually had a lot more ideas for how I can make this entrance look a little bit more personal. I just really wanted to clarify that little bit about my museum entrance. Here is the only city area that I have on my island. I was having a really hard time trying to figure out how to use some of the like Nook Stop items. Originally during Christmas season, I wanted to do a Christmas island, a city Christmas island for like a fleeting moment because I decided this 2 weeks before Christmas. There just wasn't enough time, so I actually ended up having a lot of these Nook Stop city items left, but honestly I think they look pretty good in front of my museum. They kind of make some sense. To kind of cure, you know, the city items, I had to fight it with a natural, sort of natural looking orchard. Somebody showed a photo of a natural looking orchard on YouTube at some point, and I was really inspired by that. Months later, I needed to find storage and like a way to put my fruit trees on my island. And this is a really small area, guys. I just decided to throw my tree orchard over here, and it's not bad. I don't know. Something about my orchard doesn't make me happy, so it might change soon. Over across the bridge, right next to my museum entrance, we have my residential services. And I'm gonna openly admit to you guys, this area is a mess because it's not intended to stay this way at all. Like a lot of areas on my island were intended to stay the way that I built them, but this one is one of those places that is just like for sure temporary. So I'm just growing like windflowers over here. I'm really excited to get these out of here once I start moving all of my flowers over to my boyfriend's island. This was like the one area that didn't really have anything here, so I just threw this little windflower area here, and I'm really excited to get rid of it. Over on the other side of my residential services, we have more flower areas that are not gonna stay there, and over behind my windflowers we have a little ramp. And I just want to tell you guys right now, this was the first area on my island that I decorated that I really liked the way I decorated it. In case it looks any kind of familiar, this is where I started my video, and I really do like this spot. This spot is the only spot that I don't really want to change, but everything else past this one pine tree right here that I'm standing right behind, I really want to get rid of. This is my Abel's area, and I'm not a fan. The thing that bothers me about this area isn't this area at all. Actually, I love this little, like, this little thing. I love it. It's amazing. And I also love this little washing station that I built down here. The cliff is just ugly. The cliff is in the way. I just don't like the freaking cliff here. I don't like it at all. So I really just want to take Able Sisters off of this cliff and just have it all on the first floor, which basically does mean that this little sitting area is going to have to change in some capacity, but there's definitely opportunity for the little sitting area to look cuter, and I really hate my Able Sisters being on a cliff. I tried it and I just don't like it, so I'm gonna get rid of it and it's gonna be a great time. So yeah, that is the majority of my island. We're back to my entrance. However, there is one more spot on my island that you guys have yet to see, and that's actually my front yard. So let's head over there really quick. It's not very far from my entrance at all. I kind of stuck my house right in the heart of my map because I wanted it to be fairly easy to get to from wherever I am on my map. I redecorated this really recently, and I'm already going through one of those phases where I absolutely don't like it and I want to re-terraform it. Maybe not re-terraform, but I definitely want to redesign. We have another little like fairy village on my front yard, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't think they would want to live that close to me. So I definitely want to get rid of them and maybe stick like a garden, some kind of farm or something in that corner. I also have like a little reading spot right here next to a very small puddle that I terraformed. And then in this area, we've got another washing station which can stay, but I just feel like I want a chance to come back in and kind of redo my yard. But yeah, this is my front yard, this is my house, and that is Moonlight Cove so far. It's still a huge work in progress. There are still areas that I want to change. I guess that is the life of an island rep though, am I right? I'm really excited to get this started and to finally get some content out. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of my content or anything like that, then you guys can go ahead and subscribe. If you guys are interested in taking part in any of my giveaways, definitely go follow me on my Twitter. It's at lunarhorizons_, and it's also linked down in the description below if you guys want to just click a link and follow it. I usually have some pretty good items available on my Nookazon page for trading as well, so if you guys are interested to see maybe what I currently have, you guys are more than welcome to go check out my Nookazon page. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!